on forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. Oh, because we do not carry everything to Yah in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to Yah in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful, who will all our sorrow share? Yahuah knows our every weakness. Take it to Yah in prayer. Are we weak and heavy laden, cumbered with a load of care? Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it to Yahuah in prayer. Do thy friends despise, forsake you? Take it to Yahuah in prayer. In his arms he'll take and shield you. You will find a solace there. Hi friends, Yahushua's guidance. So we're going to be discussing today about the 44 prophecies about the Son of the Creator, Yahushua Hamasheakh. Okay, all the prophecies about him, from his birth to his life to his death to his resurrection, which so many religions of the world do not believe in. The Muslims do not believe the Messiah Yahushua. Of course, they believe is Jesus, the son of Satan, the replaced name in fulfillment of the prophecies in Matthew 24:3-5, Luke 21:8, Revelation 13:8, Revelation 13:11. Now, whatever it is, the point is that Jesus is the impostor that stole the story, the identity, and the name of the Messiah Yahushua, the true Son of the Creator Yahuah, just as the Messiah Yahushua forewarned that many will come in my name, that when his name is stolen, when his name is changed, we should only know it is Satan at work. Okay, so we're going to be discussing all these prophecies because Muslims don't believe the Messiah Yahushua died. They were taught that he never died on a cross. The cross is of satanic pagan origin. He died on a stake with his two hands up and his 2 feet clasped together. He was nailed in the wrist and in the knee, in the feet. Okay. Now they were taught that that at the point of his crucifixion, that he vanished from the stake and went up into heaven, because they cannot comprehend the fact that if the Creator was with him, why should he be overcome by death? So that it's more reasonable for them to believe that he vanished and the Creator overcome triumphantly, and there was a magical wonder and he vanished and he's coming back again. That's what they were taught. Now the Jews, the Judaism religion, teaches the Jews that the Messiah Yahushua has not yet been born. Why? Because the soldiers who were sent and instructed to guard the tomb of the Messiah Yahushua were bribed by the Jewish Pharisees and Sadducees to come say that his body was stolen in the middle of the night, so that the Jews don't kill the Pharisees who authorized the crucifixion of the Messiah, whom they had been waiting to be born and to come and to liberate the people for thousands of years. Okay, so all these fallacies have consumed and buried the truth, have annihilated the truth, have deprived people of their salvation. Okay, so this is the problem. The people have been misguided. The Muslims, the Jews, every religion, the Hindus, they call the Messiah Yahushua a saint. Technically, they call Jesus a saint, believing he is the true Messiah. Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to find the verse for you so we can go along gradually. Yes, we're gonna find that in Matthew 28 verse 12. That is the crux of the deception of Judaism. This is where all the Jews miss their salvation, because they believe the lies of the bribed soldiers. Matthew 28 verse 12. When the chief priest had met with the elders and devised a plan, they gave the soldiers a bribe, a large sum of money, so that they could say that, the disciples of Messiah Yahushua came and stole his body in the middle of the night. Okay. Well, I'm just going to read from verse 11, Matthew 28 11 to 13. While the women were on their way, some of the guards went into the city and reported to the chief priest all that had happened. And after the chief priest had met with the elders and formed a plan, they gave the soldiers a large sum of money and instructed them, "You are to say, his disciples came by night and stole him away whilst we were asleep." So this is where the Jews lost their salvation. This is the deception they still follow. Technically, they are still waiting for the Messiah Yahushua to be born, and they do not realize that when the Messiah comes, he's coming for the second time, not for the first time. He's coming to judge the world. He's coming to separate the sheep from the goats, the wheat from the tares, and to cast the chaff into the fire for the day of judgment. Okay, so we're going to begin with a brief prayer. Eternal Father Yahuwah, I worship you, I praise you, I thank you, I magnify you, I adore you, I extol you, I appreciate you. Thank you immensely for your goodness, for your kindness, for your salvation so freely giving to unworthy sinners as us. Thank you for your Spirit's great Ruach HaKodesh abiding with us in a world where all inhabitants of the world worship Satan. Thank you, great Yahuwah, for your son Yahushua Hamasheakh, who laid down his life for our salvation. Forgive us for the many times and ways we have wronged you. As we commence this exercise, please take absolute preeminence that my words to be to your praises and for the salvation of souls. This I ask in the mighty name of Yahushua Hamasheakh. I submerge this exercise in the precious blood of Yahushua Hamasheakh. Thank you, great Yahuwah. Thank you. Okay, so please bring out your scripture. It's not the Bible, because the Bible is the word of God and God is Satan, all in fulfillment of Revelation 13:8. When you look at it, I ask so many people, what is the difference when in the pronunciation of your name written in capital letters and the pronunciation of your name written in small letters? There is no difference, right? If your name is Jackson, it is Jackson, whether in a small letter for email address or capital letter for a billboard. Likewise, God is Satan, whether small letter G or capital letter G, as prophesied in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 4. The God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers, that they may not see the image of the gospel of the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, who is the image of Yahuwah. So this is all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Mankind has been deceived, just as prophesied in Revelation 13:14, that Satan is going to deceive the world, that all inhabitants of the world are going to worship Satan, except those whose names are written in the book of life. Every religion worships God, regardless of the name or of the religion or the form of their worship, and God is Satan, whether it's small letter G or capital letter G, because the Creator has told us in Isaiah 42:8, I would never share my praise with idols. I would never share my esteem with satanic deities. So how do we think that he can share a name with Satan? Believing that writing it in capital letter makes a difference, and small letter G is for Satan and capital letter G is for the Creator, is all a deception, a cheap lie. With all our advanced technology, human knowledge, and education, we have fallen for the cheapest deception, and it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Revelation 13:8, Daniel 7:25, that the people of the Most High are going to be handed over to Satan for a time, times and half a time. That Satan is going to blaspheme against the Most High and against the people that dwell in heaven, and he's going to change the set times and laws. This is what has happened. The names of the Creator Yahuwah have been changed. His son Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh have been changed in fulfillment of the prophecies in Matthew 24:3-5, Luke 21:8, Revelation 13:11. I saw a beast posing as a lamb with two horns, posing as a lamb, but in truth he is of the dragon Satan. Out of all the religions of the world, only Jesus Christ claims to be the Lamb of the Creator, whereas he's never been born. He is of the dragon. The dragon is Satan. Okay, so we have to open our eyes. We have to save our souls. We do not have to fall prey because we have been informed. We have to be careful, because even if you're part of the chosen ones, Matthew 24:24 tells us that if the chosen ones are not careful, they will be misguided, they will be led astray, and they will be condemned to eternal damnation. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the prophecies now. So if you bring out your scriptures for the purpose of this exercise and for your daily, scriptural understanding, use the ISR version. ISR stands for Institute of Scriptural Research. So whatever verse you're looking for, just add ISR to it. If you're looking for John 11 ISR, John 11:35, instead of getting Jesus wept, you're going to get Yahushua wept. So you're going to be getting the right names at the right places without corruption or replacements or superimpositions of satanic names over the true names of the Creator, because the regular Bibles tell you Genesis 1, God created the world, that is, Satan created the world. So when you use the true scriptures, you get the true word and you profess the true scriptures, because by professing the wrong ones, you condemn your soul to eternal damnation. Okay, so use the ISR version and read the scriptures in their incorrupt text and version. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the 44 prophecies about the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh as the son of Yahuah the Creator, which are all fulfilled both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, because the Muslims believe more in the Old Testament. Likewise, the Jews, the Torah, they believe more in the Old Testament. But when it comes to the New Testament, they all fall away. They all, go astray, and they don't believe it. And that is why the Jews are still waiting for the Messiah Yahushua, not realizing that all the prophecies in the Old Testament are fulfilled in the New Testament. Likewise, the Muslims, they believe more in the Old Testament, but everything in the New Testament is also a fulfillment of the Old Testament. Okay, so if you read with me, it tells you from the birth, Messiah Yahushua, the 44 prophecies about him. Messiah would be born of a woman. Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. Let's see what it tells us there. You just check whatever verse it is, you add the ISR, and you're going to get it in each true scriptural version. Okay, so it tells us clearly, when Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, they were banished, and Yahuah the Creator laid a curse on Adam, on Eve, on their descendants unborn, and upon the serpent Satan, Lucifer, who deceived them. And it tells us clearly, and I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. So that is why it tells us in Luke 18:8, when the son of Adam returns, will he find faith on earth? The son of Adam is Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. He is the son of the Creator, but he had to be born to conquer Satan, to redeem mankind from this curse in Genesis 3:15. So that is why it tells you, and I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head. He will overcome you. He will trample upon you. He will defeat you, and you will strike his heel. Okay, that is why the Messiah Yahushua had to go through the rigors of the suffering, and you will strike his heel, but nonetheless he will crush this head of Satan, and he will overcome. Now this Messiah would be born of a woman is also fulfilled in Matthew chapter 1 verse 20, Galatians chapter 4 verse 4. Let's see what it says. Matthew 1:20, about the 44 prophecies of the Messiah Yahushua. He will be born of a woman. Matthew chapter 1 verse 20, it tells us clearly here that bear with me a moment. But after he had considered this, a malak, because he had to know the messengers of the Creator Yahuwah are malaks, not angels. But in the regular Jesus Bibles, they're gonna get angels. Angels are of satanic pagan origin. They are demons in hell, because it tells you the Creator would not share his praise or his esteem with idols. Now we were told that Lucifer was cast down into hell with the fallen angels. So when they have fallen, they become angels. But prior to then, they were messengers of Yahuwah. They were malaks. Okay, but after Matthew 1:20, but after he had considered this, a malak of Yahuwah appeared to him in a dream him and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mariam home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the great Ruach spirit HaKodesh. Okay, so you can see that it tells you clearly when Joseph was contemplating on whether to divorce Mariam because she was found to be with child by the power of the spirit of the creator Yahuah, the Malach came and told Joseph, do not be afraid to take Mariam as your wife, because what is conceived in her is by the power of the spirit of Yahuah the creator, in fulfillment of the prophecies that the Messiah would be born of a woman. Okay, now another fulfillment of that is in Galatians chapter 4 verse 4. Let's see what it says there. But when the time had come, let me see, bear with me a moment. But when the set time had fully come, Yahuwah sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law. So you can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies in the Old Testament. They are all fulfilled in the New Testament. And the second prophecy now is Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. It was every detail of his life was prophesied in advance. Even down to the food he would eat, it would be curd and milk. Every single thing was in fulfillment of the prophecies. That was why he said, I have not come to abolish the prophets, but to fulfill them. Because his entire life was written down, was spelled out, was all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. Micah chapter 5 verse 2. Let's see what it says. Micah is Old Testament, we have to know. So let's see what it prophesies about, and you're going to see the fulfillment made manifest in the Old Testament eventually when he was born. Micah chapter 5 verse 2 tells you, but you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from of old, from ancient times. So you can see it was prophesied in advance. He's going to be born in Bethlehem. This is the creator telling them, but you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, Messiah came from the tribe of Judah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be a ruler over Israel, whose origins are from of old, from ancient times. That is Micah chapter 5 verse 2, and that is also fulfilled in the New Testament. Matthew chapter 2 verse 1. Read with me, let's see what that says. Okay, Matthew chapter 2 verse 1, it tells us, about the birth of the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. Where was he born? In Bethlehem. So that is in fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecy in Micah chapter 5 verse 2. After Yahushua was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, the Magi, the three wise men from the east, came to Jerusalem or Yerushalayim and asked, where is the one who has been born sovereign of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose, and we have come to worship him. So you can see clearly, after Yahushua was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, the three wise men came to worship him, telling you that he was worshipped even as soon as he was born, because Muslims don't believe that the Messiah Yahushua should be worshipped. He should be worshipped because he is one with the Creator. Everything was created through him. There are three persons in the Creator: the Father, the Son, the Spirit, great Ruach. If you watch my other videos, you're going to see how the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh become the Son of the Creator, because it tells you in John 3:16 that the Creator so loved the world, that Yahuwah so loved the world, that he sent his Son, his only begotten Son, Yahushua Hamasheakh. Whosoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. So begotten tells you that he was not born through sex, he was begotten by appointment. If you read Hebrews chapter 1, yes, you're gonna see how he became the Son of the Creator. So there's another video. If you check my YouTube channel, you're gonna see how did Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh become the Son of the Creator. So you're gonna see how he was appointed, a son in Hebrews chapter 1. Read the whole Hebrews chapter 1. You're gonna see all the truth that you need to know. Okay, so Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, prophesied in Micah chapter 5 verse 2, fulfilled in Matthew chapter 2 verse 1, and also fulfilled in Luke chapter 2 verses 4 to 6. Now let's see what Luke 2 verses 4 to 6 says. Okay. Joseph, that is when you read the ISR version, because there is no letter J in the ancient Hebraic scriptures, so it's Joseph, but it's been changed in fulfillment of Daniel 7:25, that Satan is going to change all the set times and laws and the names of all the people in the scriptures. That is what we have today, because everything is happening in fulfillment of the scriptures, but we are careless and we are not realizing that we are victims of those prophecies. Now Luke chapter 2 verses 4 to 6, it tells us, Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, in fulfillment of Micah chapter 2, of Micah 5 chapter 2, that the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem. So you can see Joseph went up out of the city of David, which is went up out of the city of Nazareth into Judea to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, in fulfillment of the prophecies that the Messiah Yahushua will be born from the Davidic line, will be a descendant of David. So he went to Bethlehem during the census, the counting of everybody, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mariam, his betrothed wife, who was with child, Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. So it was that whilst they were there, the days were completed for her to be delivered. So she delivered of her son, Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, in Bethlehem, in fulfillment of the ancient prophecies in the Old Testament, as said in Micah chapter 5 verse 2. Okay, so we can see every little bit is fulfilled in the New Testament. Okay, now it tells us the third prophecy, that Messiah would be born of a virgin. Okay, Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. And this is exactly what happened, and people are still lost and confused. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14 tells us that the virgin shall conceive and give birth to a son. Okay, telling you that the birth of the Messiah would be by the power of the Spirit of Yahuah, the great Ruach. It will not be through sex. It's going to be an immaculate conception by the power of the Almighty. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14 tells us, therefore Yahuwah himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will call him Emmanuel. Okay, so we can see that is the prophecy in Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14 in the Old Testament, and that is also fulfilled here in the New Testament in Matthew chapter 1 verses 22 to 23. Okay, let's see what that says. Matthew 1, 22 to 23. All this took place to fulfill what Yahuwah had said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means Elohim is with us. So we can see clearly this prophecy in Isaiah 7:14, thousands of years, that is the space between Isaiah and the Messiah Yahushua's birth was about 2,000 years. So you can see all the prophecies were fulfilled 2,000 years later. Okay, so another fulfillment of this prophecy by Isaiah in 7:14 is in Luke chapter 1 verses 26 to 31, when Yahuwah sent the Malak to come announce the birth of his son, Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. Bear with me, I'm just going to find that for you. So the birth of Yahushua Hamasheakh, foretold by this messenger of Elohim the Creator. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, Elizabeth is the cousin of Mariam, the mother of Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, Yahuwah sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee, to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. In fulfillment of the prophecy, Messiah would come from the Davidic line. The virgin's name was Mariam. The Malak went to her and said, greetings, you who are highly favored. You can see it tells you highly favored, not full of grace, because the word grace is of satanic pagan origin as well. Greetings, you who are highly favored. Yahuwah is with you. Mariam was greatly troubled at his words and wondered what kind of greeting this might be. But the angel said to her, do not be afraid, Mariam. You have found favor with Yahuwah. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Yahushua Hamasheakh. Okay, so we can see clearly that the Malak was sent to a virgin. So it's all in fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecy that the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son. Messiah would be born of a virgin. Isaiah 7:14, Matthew 1:22 to 23 fulfills that, as well as Luke 1:26 to 31. Another prophecy tells us Messiah would come from the line of Abraham. Abraham is the father of many nations, the chosen one. Okay, now Messiah would come from the line of Abraham. We can find that in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, because Yahuah visited Abraham in Genesis 18, and he told him clearly that he has chosen Abraham and his descendants to follow after him. Okay, so this is why the Messiah would come from the line of Abraham. Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. Okay, now he tells us here that it tells us, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So the whole world is going to get salvation through Abraham. So that is why that prophecy says that Messiah would come from the line of Abraham. Okay, we can also see that in Genesis chapter 22, verse 18. The Creator, bestowed on Abraham that favor that he's going to be the source of blessing for the whole world. Okay, Genesis chapter 22, verse 18. It tells us, bear with me a moment. Let me read from verse 17. Genesis 22, 17 to 19. I will surely bless you, and I will multiply your descendants like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will possess the gates of your enemies, and through your offspring, all nations of the earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Abraham went back to his servants, and they got up and set out together for Beersheba, and Abraham settled in Beersheba. So we can see clearly, and through your offspring, all nations of the earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So this is all in fulfillment of the prophecies. We can see it tells us Messiah would come from the line of Abraham, because through Abraham's descendants the whole world will receive blessing. Now this is fulfilled in Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. Matthew is the New Testament. Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 is Matityahu in the original scriptures, but it's been Hellenized to Matthew today. Matthew chapter 1, verse 1, it tells us the genealogy of Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, his birth and origin. This is the genealogy of Yahushua Hamasheakh, the son of Dawid, because there is no letter V, but it's been changed to David, the son of Abraham. Okay, so we can see in Matthew chapter 1, verse 1, it tells us that this Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh would come from the it will be a descendant of David and a descendant of Abraham by extension. All right, so another fulfillment of that prophecy, Messiah would come from the line of Abraham, is in Romans chapter 9, verse 5. Romans 9, verse 5 is the New Testament, and we can see it tells us that bear with me. So whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Yahushua Hamashiach came, who is over all, Yahuah blessed forever. Right? So these are about the genealogy of the Messiah Yahushua, his patriarchs. Theirs are the patriarchs, and from them is traced the human ancestry of the Messiah Yahushua, who is Yahuah over all, forever praised. Okay, so it is all in fulfillment of these prophecies. The Old Testament, is in synchronization with the New Testament. Everything is fulfilled. It is all one. So saying that you believe in the Old Testament, you don't believe in the New Testament, is just a self-contradiction. Another prophecy, Messiah would be a descendant of Isaac. Isaac is the son of Abraham. Okay, now the Messiah would be a descendant of Isaac. That can be found in Genesis chapter 17, verse 19. Okay, let's see what it says. Genesis 17:19. Because Isaac is the first son, the promised son. He's not the first son, but he's the promised son. The promised son The first son is actually the son of Hagar, Ishmael, but that is Hagar was not a wife to Abraham, because Muslims are taught that Hagar was the first wife or second wife. I don't know what they are taught, because they have the Barnabas Bibles which are sold in the Muslim countries. They're just as corrupt as the regular Jesus Bibles that are sold in Christian countries, because the whole world has been corrupted with the false gospel, in fulfillment of Matthew 24:14 and Daniel 7:25, that the false gospel will be spread, the falling away will come, and then the true gospel will be brought to light, and that the end will come. Okay, judgment day will come. Now Genesis chapter 17 verse 19, the Messiah would be a descendant of Isaac. Isaac is the promised son of Abraham. Then Yahuah said, yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. Okay, so we can see that the Messiah Yahushua is the covenant, the fulfillment of the covenant with Abraham. And you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. That is Genesis chapter 17 verse 19. And Genesis chapter 21 verse 12 is also in fulfillment of the prophecies. Let me see what it says. Okay, but Yahuwah said to Abraham, again in Genesis 21 verse 12, Yahuwah said to him, do not be so distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. Through Isaac, the promised son. Okay, so this is also in fulfillment of that prophecy, that the Messiah would be a descendant of Isaac, the promised son of Abraham. Through Isaac, your descendants will be reckoned, not through the first son Ishmael, who was the son of the servant Hagar, because they were impatient, they were childless for 100 years, and then Sarah told Abraham to go have a child through her servant, and then the servant became arrogant and called Sarah barren and withered, unfruitful, and so Sarah sent her away, and the son Ishmael was raised in Abraham's household alongside with the promised son Isaac when he was born 13 years later. Okay, another prophecy, it tells us here, okay, a fulfillment of that Old Testament prophecy, Messiah would come from the line of Abraham. Matthew chapter 1 verse 1 and Romans chapter 9 verse 5. We've read it. It's about the genealogy of the Messiah, Yahushua Hamasheakh, that is going to be a descendant of Abraham. Okay, so it's just like the first one. Messiah would be a descendant of Isaac. That is also fulfilled in Luke chapter 3 verse 34. Let's see what it says. Luke chapter 3 verse 34. Which was the son of Jacob, or Jacob today, because there was no letter J, which was the son of Jacob, which was the son of Isaac, which was the son of Abraham, which was the son of Terah, which was the son of Nachor. So we can see the genealogy, the heritage of Abraham. Abraham was the son of Terah, and he begot Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob or Jacob, and Jacob had the 12 sons who represented the 12 tribes of Israel. So we can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies in Genesis, which was 2,000 years before the Messiah Yahushua was born. That is in Luke chapter 3 verse 34. Okay, now another prophecy, Messiah would be a descendant of Jacob. We just read that, but this is another one. Numbers chapter 24 verse 17. So you can see the whole Old Testament is just all the same message about the Messiah. They were waiting for the Messiah to be born for thousands of years. That is why the soldiers had to lie that the Messiah Yahushua was stolen in the middle of the night by his disciples, because they knew the people would not spare them if they realized that he actually resurrected, and they had mistakenly killed the true Messiah because of the misguidance of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. This is a Messiah that was long awaited for thousands of years before he was born. There were so many prophecies. Everybody was waiting because they could not have access to heaven. That is why he says in Matthew 28:52, as soon as he died on the stake, he had paid the price, he had fulfilled the law of sin and death. That law of sin and death says in Ezekiel 20, in Ezekiel 18:20, Ezekiel 18:4, the soul that sins shall die. So mankind, because we had sinned, as we can see in Genesis chapter 3, when Adam and Eve sinned, they were banished and they were cursed and they were separated from salvation, from access to Yahuah the Creator. So Yahuah promised them that I will send a son, a Messiah, to come and save you, to liberate you, to give you access to salvation, that your souls may not be condemned, as you deserve, because the law of Yahuah says the soul that sin shall die, and that die is not physical death, it's eternal damnation. So he sent his son. That is why John 3:16 says, for Yahuah so loved the world, he sent his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. So they were waiting for the Messiah to come, and this was what eventually happened when he came. They crucified him because their eyes were blinded, just as the eyes of many are blinded today, as said in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 4. Now, Numbers 24:17, what does it tell us? I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and they shall crush the borderlands of Moab and the territory of the Shethites. So we can see that the Messiah would come from the tribe of Jacob, Jacob. Numbers 24:17. Okay. Now, this is also fulfilled. Messiah would be a descendant of Jacob or Jacob. Is also fulfilled in the New Testament, as said in Matthew chapter 1 verse 2. Okay. What does it tell us? The genealogy of the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh is going to be a descendant of Jacob. Okay. This is the genealogy of Messiah Yahushua, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac the father of Jacob or Jacob. Jacob the father of Judah or Yehudah and his brothers. So we can see that the Messiah Yahushua came from the tribe of Jacob, the tribe of Abraham, a descendant of Isaac. Okay. Now, another prophecy, Messiah would come from the tribe of Judah. In the ancient Hebraic scriptures, it should be Yahudah, but it's been changed because there was no letter J in the ancient scriptures. So we can see that in Genesis chapter 49 verse 10. Bear with me. The Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh would come from the tribe of Judah. Genesis 49 verse 10, the scepter would not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, unto he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nation shall be his. Because this is the prophecy. People think that is the notion the Israelites had, that the Messiah would come with a strong scepter, a ruler, and they were expecting a political Messiah, a ruler from the tribe of David. He came quite alright from the tribe of David, but his reign is not now. His reign was not then, and it's not now. It's gonna be when he returns. The millennial reign of the Messiah Yahushua is gonna be when he returns. He kills and condemns, the judgment day. He separates the sheep from the goats, and then for 1,000 years he's going to reign on earth. He's going to create a new world, and it's just going to be like the way it was in the Garden of Eden. Everything will be created anew. He's going to reign for 1,000 years on earth, and then afterwards he will take the chosen ones to Hamashiach or heaven. Okay, so Messiah would come from the tribe of Judah or Yehudah. Now, Luke chapter 3 verse 33 fulfills that Old Testament prophecy, as you can see in Genesis 49:10. Okay, Luke chapter 3 verse 33. What does it tell us? Messiah would come from the tribe of Judah. Son of Aminadab, son of Admin, son of Ani, son of Hezron, son of Perez, son of Judah. So this is the genealogy of the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. He truly came from the tribe of Judah, just as it was prophesied thousands of years before in the Old Testament, as said in Genesis 49:10. Another fulfillment of that can also be seen in Hebrews chapter 7 verse 14. It tells us clearly, bear with me, excuse me, Hebrews chapter 7 verse 14, about the Messiah Yahushua coming from the tribe of Judah. Everyone knows he came from the tribe of Judah or Yehudah, and Moses never said that priest would come from that tribe. So because the priest only came from the tribe of Levi, they were called the Levites, and they were the sons of Aaron. Now, though though the Creator said only the Levites would be priests unto him, in Genesis 17 verse 19, he wiped out, annihilated all the tribes of Israel. There are 12 tribes of Israel. He annihilated all of them, sparing just the tribe of Judah. So technically all the priests of Yahuah, the Creator, have been annihilated. Only the tribe of Judah was spared out of all the tribes of Israel, because that tribe had to produce the Messiah Yahushua, who would be the last priest of Yahuah, and who would be the Messiah Yahushua, who would be the Messiah to save the world, Yahushua Hamasheakh. Okay, so that is the tribe that produced the Messiah Yahushua, the tribe of Judah. You have to know that the Jews you have today, most of them are immigrants from different countries, and they took up the nationality and citizenship of Israel to be called Jews. The original Jews, most of them have been wiped off. Very few descendants, are there. So technically, the true Jews are only the descendants of Judah. Okay, all the other tribes have been wiped off. Now, another prophecy, Messiah would be heir to King David's throne, would come from the Davidic line. 2 Samuel chapter 7 verse 12 to 13. You can see the whole Old Testament is all about it. 2 Samuel, bear with me. What verse was that? Let me see. 2 Samuel 7 12 to 13. That is, the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh would come from the line of David, would be a descendant of David. Then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against Yahuwah Elohim. Nathan replied, Yahuwah has taken away your sin. You are not going to die. Okay, let's see now. 2 Samuel 12, 13. 2 Samuel 7, 12, 13. Sorry. So 2 Samuel chapter 7 verses 12 to 13. Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 7 verses 12 to 13. He tells us the Messiah Yahushua would come from the tribe of David. When your days are over and you rest with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring to succeed you. That is, after David has died and gone to rest. When your days are over and you rest with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring to succeed you, your own flesh and blood, and I will establish his kingdom. He is the one who will build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. So that is the millennial reign of the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, prophesied about thousands of years in the Old Testament. Okay, and that is also fulfilled, and even Isaiah also prophesied about that in the Old Testament 2,000 years before the Messiah Yahushua was born. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 7. Isaiah is a strong and great prophet of the Creator Yahuwah Elohim, and he had a lot to prophesy every single detail about the life of the Messiah. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 7, it tells us of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of Yahuwah Elohim Almighty will accomplish this. So you can see clearly, of his greatness and of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom for all time to come. So he's going to be a descendant of David who will reign forever. Okay, now this is fulfilled in the New Testament. Luke chapter 1 verses 32 to 33. Luke chapter 1 verses 32 to 33. He will be great, and he will be called the Son of the Most High. Yahuwah Almighty will give him the throne of his father David, and he will rule over Jacob's descendants forever. His kingdom will never end. So we can see this is the message from the Malach, the messenger of Elohim, to Mariam, the mother of the Messiah Yahushua at the Annunciation. And this is also fulfilled in Romans chapter 1 verse 3. That the Messiah Yahushua is going to come from the tribe of David and is going to rule forever. Okay? Romans chapter 1 about about the Messiah Yahushua, regarding his son, who as to his earthly life was a descendant of David, and who through the spirit of set apartness of righteousness was appointed the son of Yahuah in power. This was how he was appointed to become the son, by appointment, because the creator Elohim said to him, "Today I make you my son. You are to be a priest unto me, a priest forever." Okay, regarding his son, who as to his earthly life was a descendant of David, and who through the spirit of set apartness was appointed the son of Elohim in power by his resurrection from the dead, Yahushua our Savior. Okay, so we can see it tells us clearly he was a descendant of David. So the Old Testament are fulfilled again in the New Testament. Another prophecy: Messiah's throne will be anointed and eternal. Psalm 45 chapter 6 verse 7. Psalm 45 6 verse 7. Because the world does not understand that Jesus Christ is anointed Messiah, but anointed by who? Anointed by who? That is the question. Anybody could anoint anybody. You could anoint yourself by pouring olive oil on yourself. You could anoint a chicken, anoint anything, anointing oil, pour it on anything, but anointed by who is the question. Jesus Christ is the Messiah, but he is the false Messiah prophesied about in Matthew 24:3-5, Luke 21:8, Revelation 13:8 tells you that there's gonna be a fake lamb. Revelation 13:11 tells you there's gonna be a false Messiah, a fake lamb. So you have to know it's going to be double identity, an impostor and the truth, the original person. Now, Psalm 45 verses 6-7, it tells us, "Your throne, O Yahuwah, will last forever and ever. A scepter of justice will be the scepter of your kingdom. You love righteousness and you hate wickedness. Therefore, Yahuwah, your Elohim, has set you above your companions by anointing you with the oil of joy." This prophecy, we can also see it in Hebrews chapter 1, when the Messiah Yahushua was appointed the son of Yahuwah the Creator. These were the words he said to him. He appointed him out of all his companions, the Malaks, the messengers, whom you call angels, out of all the companions, his fellow messengers in heaven. It tells us that the Messiah Yahushua was actually below the status of messengers in heaven. So Yahuwah exalted him above even the messengers, above his companions, and he told him, "Your throne," he called him Yahuwah, making him equal with himself, the Creator. "Your throne, O Yahuwah, will last forever and ever. A scepter of justice will be the scepter of your kingdom. You love righteousness and you hate wickedness." That was the reason he was exalted, to become equal with the Creator, because of his love for righteousness. So anybody telling you that you can go to heaven without having to obey the Creator's laws, you can worship the Messiah without having to obey the commandments of Yahuwah the Creator in the Old Testament, you are deceived monumentally, because the reason he was exalted to become the Messiah, to become one with the Creator, is his love for righteousness and his hate for lawlessness. You love righteousness and you hate wickedness. Therefore, Elohim, your Yahuwah, has set you above your companions by anointing you with the oil of joy. So he tells you clearly that the Messiah is going to be anointed by Yahuwah, the Creator Elohim. Messiah's throne will be anointed and eternal. Okay, that is also prophesied by Daniel, the great prophet, in chapter 2, verse 44. Now let's see what it tells us. Daniel 2:44. The Old Testament, everything is in synchronization with the New Testament. Daniel 2:44 tells us, "And in the days of those kings, the Yahuwah of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed. His kingdom will be eternal, that shall never be destroyed, nor shall his kingdom be left to another people. It shall crush all these kingdoms and bring them to an end, and they shall stand forever." Okay, so we can see clearly he was prophesied in the Psalm by King David and prophesied by Daniel the great prophet, and it was also fulfilled in the New Testament in the book of Luke chapter 1 verse 33. Okay, so you can see everything is in synchronization, is all in fulfillment. Messiah Yahushua meant every word when he said, I have come to fulfill the law, but to fulfill the prophets, not to abolish them. Luke chapter 1 verse 33, and he will reign over Jacob's descendants forever. His kingdom will have no end. The Messiah's throne will be anointed and will be eternal. His kingdom will have no end. He's also fulfilled in Hebrews chapter 1 verses 8 to 12. Okay, Hebrews 1 8 to 12. Let's see what it says. But about the Son, this is, if you read the whole Hebrews chapter 1, that is where you're going to see how the Messiah Yahushua was appointed to become a son. Okay, but about the Son, he says, reading from verse 8 to 12, your throne, O Yahuwah, just like in Psalms, King David, this is also fulfilled in the New Testament. Your throne, O Yahuwah, will last forever and ever. A scepter of justice will be the scepter of your kingdom. You have loved righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore, Elohim, your Yahuwah, has set you above your companions by anointing you with the oil of joy. He also says in the beginning, Yahuwah, you lay the foundations of the earth, because it tells you that everything on earth was created through the Son, Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. In the beginning, Yahuwah, you lay the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you will remain. They will wear out like a garment. You will roll them up like a robe. Like a garment, they will be changed, but you remain the same, and your years will never end. These are the words of the Creator to his Son, Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. So we can see clearly, it tells you that his reign will be forever. His reign will know no end. Messiah's throne will be anointed and eternal. Okay? Messiah would be called Emmanuel. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. He prophesied about that the Messiah will be called Emmanuel, and Emmanuel means Elohim is with us. Yahuwah the Creator is with us. That is why even after Messiah Yahushua ascended into heaven, he said, I will not leave you orphans. I will send you the helper, the great Ruach Spirit HaKodesh, to abide with you, because he tells us clearly that he's going to abide with us forever, because his name is Emmanuel, and Emmanuel means Elohim is with us. So he's going to abide with us because he is one with the great Ruach, the Spirit of Yahuwah the Creator. There are three persons in the Creator: Father, Son, and Spirit, as we can see in Genesis chapter 18, when three of them came physically and visited Abraham in the Old Testament. So it tells you that his name will be called Emmanuel, which means Elohim with us. Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, Yahuwah himself will give you a sign: the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Emmanuel. You will call him Emmanuel. Emmanuel means Elohim is with us. So he's constantly with us. He was with us in person when he was born. He was with us before he came, because everything was created through him. He is the word of Yahuwah, and the whole world was created through the word of Yahuwah, the Creator Elohim. So when he speaks his son, and his son is his word. Okay, Messiah will be called Emmanuel. That is also fulfilled in the New Testament in the book of Matthew chapter 1 verse 23. Okay, so he abides with us even after he's gone, as the Spirit, great Ruach Spirit HaKodesh, because we are three persons but we are one. Matthew 1:23. Behold the virgin, the same thing Isaiah said in Isaiah in 7:14, 2,000 years before, was fulfilled thousands of years eventually when he was born. Matthew 1:23, New Testament. Behold the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which means Elohim is with us. So we can see that is another fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecy made manifest in the New Testament. Messiah would spend a season in Egypt. Egypt was in Africa, or is in Africa. He would spend a season, because when he was born, there was a great ruckus, because the prophecy said that a new king will be born, a sovereign will be born who will rule forever. So the current king, Herod, believed that the Messiah would rule immediately, and so he tried to kill him because he wanted to protect his own reign, not realizing that the reign of the Messiah is going to be after the judgment day, the 1,000 millennial reign of the Messiah Yahushua on earth after he has come to judge the world. If he knew that the world would still be waiting for the return of the Messiah, he wouldn't have tried to kill him, trying to protect his throne. Messiah would spend the season in Egypt. That was prophesied in Hosea chapter 11 verse 1. Let's see what Prophet Hosea said. He was a good prophet of the Creator. Hosea chapter 1 verse 11, it tells us clearly that the Messiah will spend a season in Egypt. The people of Judah and the people of Israel will come together. They will appoint one leader, and they will come out of the land for great will be the day of Israel. Bear with me, let me just find that. Hebrews 11:1, not Hebrews 1:11. I'm sorry. It's Hosea 11:1, not Hosea 1:11. Okay? Yes. There we go. Hosea 11:1. The Messiah will spend the season in Egypt. Yahuwah's love for Israel. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. Out of Egypt I called my son. Okay, so these were all prophecies in the Old Testament, and they were fulfilled in the New Testament. Messiah would spend a season in Egypt. Hosea 11:1 fulfilled in Matthew chapter 2 verses 14 to 15. Okay, Matthew chapter 2 verses 14 to 15. Now, Messiah spent a season in Egypt, just as Hosea prophesied about him thousands of years before he was born. Matthew chapter 2 verses 14 to 15. So he got up, took the child and his mother Mariam during the night. That is, Joseph got up, took the child Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh and his mother Mariam during the night and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. Herod was after the Messiah Yahushua's life. Where he stayed until the death of Herod, and so was fulfilled what Yahuwah had said through the prophet Hosea, out of Egypt I called my son. So you can see clearly everything is in fulfillment of the scriptures. Everything is in synchronization. Messiah would spend a season in Egypt. Hosea 11:1 prophesied it. Matthew 2:14-15 fulfilled it. Now, a massacre of children would happen at Messiah's birthplace. He was born in Bethlehem, and there will be a massacre. A massacre means a mass killing. Okay, Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 15, because King Herod was trying to protect his throne. Sorry, Jeremiah what? Because I read it from the notes and then I go on Google. 31:15. Okay, Jeremiah 31:15. There will be a massacre because King Herod was trying to protect his throne. So he killed all the newborn males because he was told that the Messiah, the new king, the new sovereign would be a male. So he killed all the newborn males born in Bethlehem. So there, in fulfillment of the prophecies, there will be a mass killing, a massacre in Messiah's birthplace. Thus says Yahuwah, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because there are no more. Thus says Elohim, keep your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for there is a reward for your work. Yahuwah shall come back from the land of the enemy, and there is hope for your future. Yahuwah, your children shall come back to their own country. Is that 31? Bear with me. Jeremiah 31. Sorry. 31:15, yes. So it's all about the weeping and the tears at the time, telling you that the Messiah, there's going to be a mass killing at the time of the Messiah's birth, in his birthplace. Jeremiah 31:15. Thus says Yahuwah, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Because it's all about the newborn babies that were all massacred and killed in fulfillment of the prophecies by King Herod, because he was trying to protect his throne from the sovereign whom he believed would reign immediately. A massacre of children would happen at Messiah's birthplace. That was fulfilled in Matthew chapter 2 verses 16 to 18. Okay, when the Messiah Yahushua was born, Matthew 2:16 to 18. When Herod realized that the child had been born, he sent his soldiers to go kill them. When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, because when the three wise men were looking for the newborn sovereign, the newborn king, to worship him, to pay their homage, they went through the palace of King Herod, believing that since he was prophesied to be coming from the Davidic line, he's going to be, a royalty. So they went there, and that was how King Herod heard about it. And he said, "Oh, really? This is going to happen? And I didn't even know. I'm here relaxed on my throne. Somebody's coming to dethrone me." So he told the three wise men, "I've not heard about the newborn king. When you hear about him, come back to me, and I will go pay my own homage." But he had ulterior motives to go slay and kill instead. So when the three wise men found the baby Yahushua Hamasheakh, they worshipped him. They presented their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold is for his royalty, frankincense for his priesthood, and myrrh for his death, because it's all symbolic. And then whilst they were on their way back, the Malach, the messenger of Yahuah, appeared to them and told them that they should go back to King Herod and misdirect him. So King Herod was given the wrong information. So when Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity, its surrounding environment. To kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under. So he was just trying to take absolute precaution. Who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel, weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted because they are no more. So you can see the Old Testament quoted in the New Testament is all in synchronization, it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Okay, another prophecy, Messiah a messenger would prepare the way for the Messiah. Who is that messenger? John the Baptist, or Yahukanan. That is the original name. Isaiah chapter 40 verses 3 to 5. Isaiah prophesied about that. Isaiah chapter 40 verses 3 to 5. It tells us that a messenger would prepare the way for the Messiah's coming, because somebody's going to be his forerunner to announce, herald his coming, and tell people, make a way, prepare, get your acts right. Isaiah chapter 40 verses 3 to 5 tells us, a voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way for Yahuah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley shall be raised up, every valley deep shall be raised up, and every mountain and hill shall be made low and leveled. The rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain, and the praise of Yahuah will be revealed, and all the people will see it together, for the mouth of Yahuah has spoken. Okay, this is about the voice of one calling in the wilderness, the messenger, the forerunner of Yahushua Hamasheakh. A messenger would herald, would prepare the way for the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, and that was fulfilled in Luke chapter 3 verses 3 to 6. Okay, and also the book of St. John, Luke chapter 3 verses 3 to 6. So John the Baptist is the son of Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the cousin of Mariam, the mother of Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. So though John the Baptist was 6 months older than Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, he was the forerunner of Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. He was the son of Elizabeth and the son of Zechariah, the priest of Yahuah, who was a Levite. Okay, so technically John the Baptist should have been a priest, a Levite, because all Levites are called to priesthood, but he was a messenger because he had a special calling, a special mission on earth. Okay, the return of Elijah, that is who John the Baptist represented. Now Luke chapter 3 verse 3 to 6, the voice of one calling in the wilderness, in fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecies by prophet Isaiah. He went into all the country around the Jordan, that is John the Baptist, preaching a baptism of repentance for the forgiveness of sins, as it is written in the book of the words of Isaiah the prophet. A voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yahuah, make straight paths for him. Every valley shall be filled in, every mountain and hill made low. The crooked road shall become straight, the rough way smooth, and all people will see Yahuwah's salvation. So all these crooked paths, the mountains, the valleys, this is about our lifestyles, our behaviors. If you are dodgy, if you are crooked, if you are dishonest, if you are whatever it is, you know it is not in synchronization with Yahuwah's commandment, you should level it, you should make straight the path. That is the voice of one calling in the wilderness. A messenger would prepare the way of Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. Okay? And that is what you are called to do today, because the Messiah is returning and is giving that mission to everybody, as he said in Matthew 28:18-20. Go into the world and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father Yahuwah, and of the Son Yahushua Hamasheakh, and of the great Ruach Spirit HaKodesh. Okay, another prophecy, Messiah would be rejected by his own people. You can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Psalm 69 verse 8, Messiah would be rejected by his own people. Okay, because of the confusion surrounding his birth, people were expecting in a descendant of David, a royal majesty, a strong king. Little did they know, because they were not paying attention, because Isaiah 53 gave them all the prophecies that he will first suffer, he will first be downtrodden, he will first go through punishment and suffering and torture to fulfill the law of sin and death, to die in our place, to grant us salvation, and then he will be exalted to a throne of praise, a throne of exaltation. Okay, so they were not paying attention to all that. Now, Messiah will be rejected by his own people. Psalm 69 verse 8, it says, I have become a stranger to my kindred, my people, an alien to my mother's children. You know, my people, the Israelites, because they were all descendants of Abraham. An alien to my mother's children. It is zeal for your house that has consumed me. Zeal for Yahuwah's house, Yahuwah's temple. It is zeal for your house that consumed me. The insults of those who insult you have fallen on me, because he loves his father. Whatever concerns his father concerns him. It is zeal for your house that has consumed me. The insults of those who insult you have fallen on me. When I humbled my soul with fasting, they insulted me for doing so. When I made sackcloth for my clothing, I became a byword to them. I became a byword to them. I am the subject of gossip for those who sit in the gate, and the drunkards make songs about me, an object of ridicule. But as for me, my prayer is to you, O Yahuwah, at an acceptable time, O Yahuwah Elohim. In the abundance of your steadfast love, please answer me. With your help, with your faithful help, rescue me from sinking in the mire, in the grave. Let me be delivered from my enemies and from the deep waters. Do not let the flood sweep over me, or the deep swallow me up, or the pit close its mouth over me. Answer me, O Yahuwah, for your steadfast love is good. According to your abundant mercy, turn to me. Do not hide your face from your servants, for I am in distress. Make haste to answer me. Draw near to me, redeem me, set me free because of my enemies. You know the insults I receive, and my shame and dishonor. My foes, my enemies are all known to you. Insults have broken my heart, so that I am in despair. I looked for pity, but there was none, and for comforters, but I found none. So you can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecy. Psalm 69 verses 8-16. It tells you that the Messiah Yahushua will be despised, will be rejected by his own people. Okay, and then Prophet David talked about that, and also Prophet Isaiah prophesied that. Psalm 53 verse 3. Okay, Isaiah 53 verse 3. Sorry, Isaiah 53 verse 3. He tells us about the Messiah Yahushua being rejected by his own people. He was despised and rejected by others, a man of suffering and acquainted with infirmity, with insults, with scorn. And as from one whom others hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him of no account. They had no value for him. So it was all in fulfillment of these prophecies. Isaiah chapter 53 verse 3, all fulfilled in the New Testament during the suffering of the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, as we can see in John chapter 1 verse 11. Okay, now Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh was rejected and despised by his own people. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Okay, so we can see clearly he came to his own people, the Israelites, but his own people did not receive him. Now we can also see that fulfilled in John chapter 7 verse 5. Okay, for even his own brothers did not believe in him. His own people, the Israelites, they did not believe in him. That was why he said that a prophet is never great amongst his own people. And that was why in Matthew 21:43, because of their unbelief, he told them the kingdom of heaven will be taken away from you and given it to people who will bear forth fruit worthy of the kingdom of Elohim the Creator. Okay, now we can also see another prophecy. Messiah would be a prophet. So Muslims, though they have the wrong name, they are right by saying that he is a prophet. He's not just a prophet, but he's also the son of the Creator, because Hebrews chapter 1 tells you how he became a son. Okay, now Messiah would be a prophet. Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 15. That is the prophecy by Moses. Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 15. The Creator told them that he was going to send them the last prophet, disqualifying Muhammad as the last prophet of the Creator, whom Muslims believe in, because the last prophet would be a descendant of would be an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, a descendant of Moses, a descendant of Isaac. We can see clearly that this is not who Muhammad is. Muhammad claims to be a descendant of Ishmael, the first son of Abraham, but the Messiah would be a prophet and the last prophet of the Creator, and a descendant of Isaac, the promised son. Okay, now Deuteronomy 18:15 tells us the Yahuah, your Creator, Elohim, will raise up for you a prophet like me. This is Moses telling them that he's going to be a prophet like me. In other words, he's going to be born a prophet, because Moses was born a prophet. Yahuah, your Creator, Elohim, will raise up a prophet like me from among your own people, an Israelite. You shall heed such a prophet. This is what you requested of Yahuah, your Creator, at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, if I hear the voice of Yahuah, the Elohim, anymore or ever again, see this great fire, I will die. Then Yahuah replied to me, they are right in what they have said. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their own people. I will put my words in the mouth of the prophet, telling you that Muhammad, writing the Quran and saying that the Creator told him to write it, but he said it's Allah. Allah is not the name of the Creator. The Creator said he will put his words in the mouth of the last messenger. He will not ask him to write. And that is why Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh did not write the scriptures, because it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies. He always told them, the words I speak to you are not my own. It is the Father living in me that is doing his work through me. The words I speak, not the words I write. And it's all in fulfillment of the prophecy. The Creator said that he will send them a prophet like Moses. I will raise up for them a prophet like you, Moses, from among their own people, an Israelite. I will put my words into the mouth of the prophet. My words, not tell him to write. I will put my words into the mouth of the prophet, who shall speak to them everything that I command. Exactly what Messiah Yahushua says. The word I say to you are not my own. It is the Father in me speaking for himself, doing his own work. Who shall speak to them everything that I command? Anyone who does not heed the words that the prophet shall speak in my name, I myself will hold accountable. But any prophet who speaks in the name of other gods, or who presumes to speak in my name a word that I have not commanded the prophet to speak, the prophet shall die. Muhammad is dead. The prophet shall die. You may say to yourself, how can we recognize a word that Yahuah has not spoken? If a prophet speaks in the name of Yahuah, but the thing does not take place or prove true, it is a word that Yahuah has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. Do not be frightened by it. So you can see clearly, he told them very, in succinct terms, clear terms, Deuteronomy 18:15-22, that the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh is going to be a prophet, and this is all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Is also fulfilled in the New Testament, Acts chapter 3 verses 20-22. Okay, Acts chapter 3 verses 20-22. Let's see what it says. That the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, that times of refreshing may come from the presence of Yahuah, and that he may send the Messiah appointed for you, Yahushua, whom heaven must receive until the time for restoring all the things about which Yahuah spoke by the mouth of his set apart prophets long ago. Moses said, Yahuah Elohim will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brothers. You shall listen to him in whatever he tells you. So you can see the scriptures tell you whoever does not listen to that last prophet, Yahuah the Creator will hold him accountable. So if you are despising the true Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, you are putting yourself on the judgment table. You are putting yourself at loggerheads, at enmity with the Creator Yahuah. Another prophecy, Messiah would be preceded by Elijah. Elijah, we know that Elijah in the New Testament is John the Baptist, because Elijah ascended into heaven, and it was prophesied that he would come back again. That is why when the Messiah Yahushua was transfigured on the mountain with his disciples, and his disciples asked him, but it is prophesied that Elijah would come first before the Messiah Yahushua comes. And then he told them Elijah has surely come, but they did not recognize him. They were expecting the same old Elijah to appear and descend from heaven. They didn't realize he would come in the form of of John the Baptist, a new person. Messiah would be preceded by Elijah. Malachi chapter 4 verses 5 to 6. That is the Old Testament. Malachi chapter 4 verses 5 to 6. It tells us clearly, see, I will send the prophet Elijah. He would come before the Messiah. See, I will send the prophet Elijah to you before that great and dreadful day of Yahuah comes. He will turn the hearts of the parents to their children, and the hearts of the children to their parents, or else I will come and strike the land with total destruction. So he tells you Elijah will come first before the great and dreadful day, the day of judgment, the Messiah Yahushua's return. Messiah will be preceded by Elijah. That is fulfilled in Matthew 11:13 to 14. Okay? Matthew 11:13 to 14. What does it tell us? For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John, and if you are willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come. So it tells you clearly that John the Baptist is the Elijah who was to come. He's the Elijah who was to precede, to come before the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John the Baptist, and if you are willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come. Matthew 11:13 to 14. Okay? Another prophecy, Messiah will be declared the son of the Creator Yahuah. Because the Jews don't believe it, the Muslims don't believe it, Messiah will be declared the son of Yahuah the Creator. Psalm chapter 2 verse 7. Okay? Psalm chapter 2 verse 7. It was prophesied in the Old Testament that the Creator will be sending his own son. I will proclaim Yahuwah's decree. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have become your father. This is in the Old Testament by King David, thousands of years. This was also fulfilled. This was how the Messiah Yahushua became the son of the Creator. You are my son. Today I make you. You are my son. Today I am your father. He was appointed to become a son, just like you can appoint somebody to be the manager of your business. Also, Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6, that the son of the Creator would be sent by the Creator to come redeem the world from destruction and eternal damnation. Okay, Isaiah was a prophet of Yahuwah the Creator, and he told us clearly, for unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty Yahuwah, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So he tells you clearly that the Messiah would be declared the son of Yahuwah the Creator. That is also fulfilled in Luke chapter 1 verse 35, when the Creator Elohim, Yahuwah, sent the Malach, the angel, to come to Mariam, the mother of Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, to give the message, to ask her, are you happy to be the mother of the son of the creator? Are you happy to birth the Messiah? Now Luke 1:35, the Malach, the messenger, said, the angel answered, the Spirit of Yahuah will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. So the set apart one to be born will be called the Son of Elohim. Okay, so when Mariam was asking, how can I bear the Messiah? How can I give birth to the Son, the Messiah, the Son of the Creator, if I'm still a virgin? That was what the Malach said to her. The power of the Most High will overshadow you, so that the child will be called set apart, righteous, and will be called the Son of Elohim, the Creator. That is also fulfilled in Matthew chapter 3, verses 16 to 17. Bear with me a moment. Matthew chapter 3, verses 16 to 17. Okay. That the Messiah would be called the Son of Elohim, the Creator. As soon as Yahushua was baptized, he went up out of the water. At that moment, Hamasheakh, heaven was opened, and he saw the Spirit of Yahuah descending like a dove and alighting on him. And the voice from heaven said, what did it say? This is my Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. So you can see the Creator, Elohim, announced from heaven before the presence of everybody at the baptism of the Messiah, this is my Son, with whom I am well pleased. And the Spirit of Yahuah descended upon his shoulders. That is the Trinity in one place, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Okay, that is also fulfilled in Matthew 17, verse 5. Okay, the Messiah would be called the Son of Elohim, the Creator. That is during the transfiguration of the Messiah Yahushua on the mountain. Whilst he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, this is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. This is my beloved Son. So twice the Creator announced from the heavens, from the skies, to the people, telling them verbally, clearly, this is my Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. Telling them, this is the prophet Moses told you about, whom I'll be raising up for you. This is the one you've been waiting for. Do not make any mistakes about it. If you do not listen to him, I will hold you accountable, as I told you in Deuteronomy 18:15 to 22. Okay? Now, another prophecy, the Messiah would be called a Nazarene. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. Okay? Because he eventually went from Egypt to go live in Nazareth to fulfill this prophecy. Messiah would be called a Nazarene. Now let's read. These are prophecies made thousands of years before he was born. Isaiah 11. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. Jesse is the father of David. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of Yahuwah will rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of the knowledge and fear of Yahuwah, and he will delight in the fear of Yahuwah. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decide by what he hears with his ears, but with righteousness he will judge the needy. Okay, let me see, bear with me. That was Isaiah 11 verse 1, right? Yes. I think I'm reading past the right point. So the Messiah would be called a Nazarene. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. Jesse is the father of David. Okay, from his roots a branch will bear fruit. Okay, from the tribe of David, a descendant of David. So he tells you clearly the prophecies. The Spirit of Yahuwah will rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and strength, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahuwah. That is also fulfilled, when in the book of Luke, it tells you that Yahushua Hamasheakh grew up in the fear of Yahuwah. So he just in fulfillment of these prophecies, Isaiah 11, 1 to 5, that is going to be bestowed with the spirit of knowledge, with the fear of the Creator. He's going to grow in spirit, in wisdom and in knowledge. That is also fulfilled in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 2, verse 23. Okay, that the Messiah would be called a Nazarene. Matthew chapter 2 verse 23 tells us, and he went and lived in a city called Nazareth, so that what was spoken by the prophets might be fulfilled, that he would be called a Nazarene. So we can see Old Testament fulfills the new is fulfilled again in the New Testament. It's all in synchronization. All right. Now another prophecy: Messiah would bring light to Galilee. Isaiah chapter 9 verses 1 to 2. Verses 1 to 2. Isaiah chapter 9 verses 1 to 2. The Messiah will bring light to the people. Okay, we are so privileged because he extended that salvation meant for the Israelites alone to the whole world because of their unbelief. For unto us a child is born, but there will be no gloom for her who was in anguish. In the former time he brought into contempt the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and in the latter time he had made set apart and precious the way of the sea, the land beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them has light shone. So Isaiah chapter 9 verses 1 to 2 tells us that the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh would bring light to Galilee, and that is what we have read, that unto them who were in gloomy darkness light has shone. This is fulfilled in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 4 verses 13 to 16. Matthew chapter 4 verses 13 to 16. It tells us that the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh is the light of the world, and he brought light to the people. Okay. Leaving Nazareth, he went and lived in Capernaum, which was by the lake in the area of Zebulun and Naphtali, to fulfill what was said through the prophet Isaiah. Land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people living in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has shone, a light has dawned. So we can see it's all in fulfillment of the scriptures. Okay. Another prophecy: Messiah would speak in parables, because so many things he said, he never said it, straightforward. He would give you an instance and then he would apply it to himself. Messiah would speak in parables. Psalm 78 verses 2 to 4. Okay. That the Messiah would speak in parables, so that when he comes, they would know. These are signs for them to know. These are, prophecy, so that when the person is born, because Yahuah the Creator knew the length of time would be monumental, would be so great. So when the person comes, they would see that all these signs, they're in accordance with the scriptures and prophecies. Psalm 78 verses 2 to 4. I will open my mouth with a parable. I will utter hidden things from of old, things we have heard and known, things our ancestors have told us. We will not hide them from their descendants. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of Yahuah, his power and the wonders he has done. So you can see, I will open up my mouth with a parable. These were prophecies made thousands of years in Psalm 78 verses 2 to 4. Also Isaiah prophesied about it in Isaiah chapter 6 verses 9 to 10. Okay, that the Messiah will speak through parables, so that when the person is born, they would know from the way he teaches, from the way he speaks. They would know that his actions and words are in synchronization with the scriptural prophecies. He said, go and tell this people, be ever hearing but never understanding, be ever seeing but never perceiving. Make the heart of these people calloused, make their ears dull and close their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. Okay, so we can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies, that they will be like befuddled, confused for a time with the parables, and then he will bring the truth of the gospel and the message to them. Isaiah chapter 6 verses 9 to 10. And that is fulfilled in the life of the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh in Matthew chapter 13, Matthew 13, 10 to 15. Okay, how the Messiah Yahushua always spoke in parables. Matthew 10:13-15. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Bear with me. I don't know if this is the right one. Let me see. Matthew 13:10-15, right? Oh, sorry, it's Matthew 13:10-15. I was reading Matthew 10. Matthew 13:10-15, that the Messiah would speak through parables. Okay? The disciples came to him and asked, "Why do you speak to the people in parables?" He replied, "Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing but never understanding. You will be ever seeing but never perceiving. For these people's hearts have become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and that would heal them." So this is the reason he always spoke in parables, because he told them that the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to the chosen ones. So when they hear the message, is going to trigger off that spiritual gift given to the chosen ones, the set apart ones. So we can see clearly this is the reason why he always spoke in parables. Otherwise, the people, they would hear but they would not understand. They would see but they would have no vision. This is all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Messiah would speak in parables. Okay. Another prophecy, Messiah would be sent to heal the brokenhearted. Isaiah chapter 61 verses 1-2. So we can see this is all about the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. It has nothing to do with Muhammad, who claims to be the last prophet. The Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh is the last prophet of the Creator Yahuah Elohim. The spirit of the sovereign Yahuah is on me, because Yahuah has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. Messiah Yahushua will be sent to heal the brokenhearted. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom to the captives and release freedom from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of Yahuwah's favor and the day of vengeance of Yahuah, to comfort all who mourn. So you can see these are the prophecies about the Messiah Yahushua in Isaiah chapter 61 verses 1-2. And this is also fulfilled in the New Testament, that the Messiah would be sent to heal the brokenhearted. Luke chapter 4 verses 18-19. Okay, when the Messiah, Luke chapter 4 verses 18-19, when the Messiah Yahushua read the scroll and he said, "The spirit of Yahuwah is upon me. He has sent me to speak freedom to the captives." Luke chapter 4 18-19, "The spirit of Yahuwah is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for his prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of Yahuwah's favor." So you can see this was the first time he went into the temple and he picked up the scroll and he opened it up, and the part he read was this part about the Messiah, prophesied by Isaiah thousands of years before, and he started manifesting all those prophecies. He healed the sick, he opened the eyes of the blind, he set the captives free, to fulfill the prophecies. Another prophecy, Messiah will be a priest after the order of Melchizedek. Psalm 110 verse 4 tells us that the Messiah would be a priest, even though he was not born from the tribe of Levi, who were the priests. He's going to be a priest as of the order of Melchizedek, because Melchizedek did not come from the tribe of Levi. He was the first priest even before Abraham. And you have to know that the Levites were descendants of Abraham. So even before the tribes of the Levites were created, said, we had Melchizedek before the priest. That is why it says that he's going to be a priest as of the order of Melchizedek, of a different order, because Melchizedek did not come from the Levites. Messiah Yahushua did not come from the Levites. Okay, Yahuwah has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. Psalm 110 verse 4. That is what he said to his son. You are a priest as of the order of Melchizedek, a priest forever. And he also said that in Hebrews chapter 1 when he appointed him a son, and in Hebrews chapter 5 verses 5 to 6 about the qualifications of priesthood. If you want to know who can be a priest unto Yahuwah, how to be a priest, you read Hebrews chapter 5. No one takes that honor of priesthood upon himself except it is given to him by Yahuwah the Creator. Now, Messiah Yahushua will be a priest as of the order of Melchizedek forever. Hebrews chapter 5 verses 5 to 6. In the same way, Yahushua did not take on himself the privilege of becoming a high priest, but Yahuwah said to him, you are my son, today I have become your father. And he says in another place, you are a priest forever, as of the order of Melchizedek, in fulfillment of the prophecies and scriptures foretold in Psalm 110 verse 4, thousands of years before he was born. Now another prophecy, Messiah would be called a king, a sovereign. Psalm chapter 2 verse 6. Okay. Psalm chapter 2 verse 6. We're gradually coming to the end of it all, because it's going to end where he resurrected and ascended into heaven. Okay, so the Messiah would be called a king. Psalm chapter 2 verse 6. I have installed my king on Zion, my set apart mountain. Okay, this is the prophecy about the Messiah Yahushua. Is going to be a set apart king, like on the mountain of Zion. Zechariah chapter 9 verse 9. Zechariah is another prophet of Yahushua Hamasheakh, of Elohim the Creator. Bear with me. Zechariah 9 verse 9. It tells us Yahushua Hamasheakh is going to be a king as of the order. He's going to be a king and have an eternal reign. Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion. Shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the fall of a donkey. So you can see, it tells you clearly, he prophesied that the Messiah would ride on a donkey. He's going to be a king, because the reason he rode on a donkey was to separate himself from the political warriors and kings of the earth who triumphed through wars and battles. But he chose a donkey because a donkey is meek and a symbol of peace, not a horse, because horses are for wars. So Messiah would be called a king. That is fulfilled in Matthew chapter 27 verse 37. Okay, Matthew 27 verse 37. That is also fulfilled here. We can read in Matthew 27 verse 37 that the Messiah would be called a king. Above his head they placed the written charge against him. This is Yahushua, the King of the Jews. So even when he was crucified, the charge above his head, they wrote, they thought they were mocking him. They didn't know that they were fulfilling the prophecies. This is the King of the Jews. That was the label they put, and that was the charge for killing him, because he claimed that he was the King of the Jews. They did not understand, because he is truly the King of the Jews in fulfillment of the prophecies, that he would be a king from the tribe of David, the greatest king, the descendants of Abraham, the chosen one. Okay, this was also fulfilled. Messiah would be called a king. Mark chapter 11 verses 7 to 11. Okay, Mark chapter 11 verses 7 to 11. Now, the Messiah Yahushua would be called a sovereign, a king. It tells us when they brought the colt to Yahushua and threw their cloaks over it, he sat on it to fulfill the prophecies as of old. When many people spread their cloaks on the road, while others spread branches they had cut in the fields, those who went ahead and those who followed shouted, Hoshiana or Hosanna, which you have today. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Elohim. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our father David. Hoshiana, Hosanna in the highest heaven. Yahushua entered Jerusalem and went into the temple courts. He looked around at everything, but since it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. So you can see clearly that he was recognized as a king, but this is all in fulfillment of the prophecy. 1 week they made him king, the next week they crucified him, because they were acting in fulfillment of the prophecy. Their eyes were blinded, they did not understand. Another prophecy, Messiah would be praised by little children. Psalm chapter 8 verse 2. Okay, Psalm chapter 8 verse 2, Messiah will be praised by little children. He always said, let the little children come to me. Though through the praise of children and infants you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe, the enemy, and the avenger. That is Psalm chapter 8 verse 2 by King David, thousands of years before he was ever born. That is fulfilled in Matthew chapter 21 verse 16. Matthew is the New Testament apostle of Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. And they say to him, do you hear what these are saying? And Yahushua said to him, yes. Have you never read, out of the mouths of infants and nursing babies you have prepared praise? So it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies that Messiah Yahushua will be praised by little children. Another prophecy, Messiah would be betrayed. Okay, Muhammad was never betrayed. So this has nothing, all these prophecies have nothing to do with any other prophet who claimed or claims to be the last prophet of the Creator Yahuah. Messiah would be betrayed. Psalm 41 verse 9. Okay, that is how he was going to be sold and to be crucified. Psalm 41 verse 9. David prophesied about it thousands of years before the Messiah Yahushua was born. Even my close friends, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread, has turned against me. So you can see clearly this is all in fulfillment of the prophecy. David was a king thousands of years before Messiah Yahushua was born. Messiah will be betrayed was also prophesied by the prophet Zechariah in 11:12-13. Let's read Zechariah 11:12-13. Okay, now he tells us, I told them, if you think it is best, give me my pay, but if not, keep it. So they paid me 30 pieces of silver. That is the price Judas Iscariot betrayed Yahushua Messiah for. And Yahuwah said to me, throw it to the potter, the handsome price at which he valued me. So I took the 30 pieces of silver and threw them to the potter at the house of Yahuwah. This is all in fulfillment of the prophecy, because after Judas betrayed Messiah Yahushua, he was rueful, regretful, remorseful, and he threw the money on the potter's field, and that was used to buy a field. And they said because it's ill-gotten money used for the blood of the innocent, that they would not use it for their own, that they would use it to buy a field as a burial ground for strangers, in Jerusalem. It's all in fulfillment of the prophecy. Messiah would be betrayed was fulfilled in the New Testament, Luke chapter 22 verses 47 to 48. Luke 22 verses 47 to 48. Okay, when the Messiah was betrayed, he tells you everything, how it happened by Judas Iscariot. While he was still speaking, a crowd came up, and the man who was called Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 apostles of Messiah Yahushua, was leading them. He approached Messiah Yahushua to kiss him, but Yahushua asked him, Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? So this is all in fulfillment of the prophecy that the Messiah would be betrayed. Okay, this is also fulfilled in Matthew 26 verses 14 to 16. Matthew 26 verses 14 to 16. Okay, Judas agrees to betray Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh for 30 pieces of silver. Then one of the 12 apostles, the one called Judas Iscariot, chariot, went to the chief priest and asked, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him up to you?" So they counted for him 30 pieces of silver. From then on, Judas watched for an opportunity to hand him over. So you can see, technically, they were expecting the prophecies to be fulfilled for the Messiah to come. They didn't realize they were fulfilling everything, because Zechariah 11, 12, 13 tells them that the exact amount he will be sold for, what the person who sells him would do with the money, and what the money would be used for. Everything was in synchronization and fulfillment of the prophecies. Another prophecy, Messiah's price money would be used to buy a potter's field. We just read it in Zechariah 11, 12, 13 and Matthew 27 verses 9 to 10. Okay, now let's see the fulfillment. Matthew 27, 9 to 10. What Judas Iscariot did in the New Testament. It was all in fulfillment of Zechariah's prophecies that he would use the money, throw it away for it to be used to buy a potter's field, a graveyard for strangers. Then was fulfilled what had been spoken by the prophet Jeremiah, saying, "And they took the 30 silver pieces, the price of him on whom a price had been set by some of the sons of Israel, and they gave them for the potter's field, as Yahuah directed me." So you can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecy by Jeremiah and by Zechariah in 11:12. In chapter 11 verses 12 to 13. Okay, Messiah would be falsely accused. Psalm 35:11. Okay, this was by King David thousands of years before, and it was fulfilled eventually, that the Messiah would be falsely accused for no just cause. He's going to be crucified. Malicious witnesses rise up. They ask me of things that I do not know. That was why he kept silent whilst he was being interrogated, and they asked him, "Are you keeping silent?" What's there to say? Because they're asking him about things he doesn't know. Mark chapter 14 verses 57 to 58 fulfills this prophecy. Sorry, let me see. Mark 14, 57 to 58. Okay, Messiah is going to be falsely accused. Then some stood up and gave this false testimony against him. "We heard him say, 'I will destroy this temple made with human hands, and in 3 days I will build another not made with human hands.'" He never said all this. These are false accusations. He said, when he said, "Zeal for your house has consumed me," he went into the temple and he destroyed all the unrighteous works of the people, using the temple of Yahuah, the creator, for business, and the merchants, and they told him, "Give us a sign for you to be authorized. What gives you the authority to do all this?" And he said, "Pull down this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." They thought he was talking about the temple of the physical building, but he was talking about the temple of his own body. And he said, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." And truly, 3 days after he was raised up from the dead, because our bodies are the temple of the Spirit of Yahuah, the Creator. Okay, so this is all fulfilled. Another prophecy, Messiah will be silent before his accusers. He kept quiet. Isaiah 53 verse 7. Okay, it was prophesied, every little detail about his life, every single thing was all prophesied, and all his actions were in synchronization with the prophecies to fulfill them, that the Messiah would be silent before his accusers. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that is before its shearers, he was silent. So he opened not his mouth. He did not open his mouth. Isaiah chapter 53 verse 7. Okay, so Messiah would be silent before his accusers. That was fulfilled in Mark chapter 15 verses 4 to 5. Whilst they were interrogating him, even Pontius Pilate, he got fed up and he said, "Are you ignoring me? Do you not know that I have the power to set you free and the power to crucify you?" And he just said that power would not have been given to you if it did not come from above, if the Creator did not give you such authorization over me. Mark 15 verses 4 to 5. So again, Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of?" But Yahushua still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. You can see that every single thing, even his silence, was in fulfillment of the prophecies. Okay. Another prophecy, Messiah would be spat upon and struck. Isaiah chapter 50 verse 6. Messiah would be spat upon and struck. Isaiah chapter 50 verse 6. So we can see this is all about the Messiah Yahushua, not about Muhammad. None of this is applicable to any other person's life. I offered my back to those who beat me, my cheeks to those who pulled at my beard. I did not hide my face from mocking and spitting. Isaiah chapter 50 verse 6. You can see it was prophesied that Messiah would be spat upon, that it would spit upon him. And this was fulfilled in Matthew 26 verse 6 to 7. It's terrible. Matthew 26 verse 6 to 7. Okay. How he was spat upon during his trials and suffering. Then they spat in his face and struck him, and some slapped him, saying, "Prophesy to us, you Messiah. Who is it that struck you?" When he was arrested and they were torturing him, making jest of him, they spat upon him, and he still said no words of calumny. Another prophecy, Messiah would be hated without cause, just as he was falsely accused. Psalm 35 verse 19. He's going to be hated without cause. He's not going to give people any reasons, but still they will hate him. Psalm 35 verse 19. Okay, do not let those gloat over me who are my enemies without cause. Do not let those who hate me without reason maliciously wink the eye. This was King David prophesying about him thousands of years before. And also in Psalm 69 verse 4, we can see King David prophesied about that again. That the Messiah is going to be hated without any cause. People that he's good to are going to turn their backs on him, and they're going to repay him his good with evil. Those who hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of my head. They are mighty who would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully. Though I have stolen nothing, I still must restore it. Psalm 69 verse 4. So it's all about the prophecies on the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. And it's fulfilled in John 15, 24 to 25. Bear with me. John 15, 24 to 25. Yes. He was hated without cause. The Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. If I had not done among them the works no one else did, they would not be guilty of any sins. As it is, they have sinned, and yet they have hated me. And yet they have hated both me and my Father who sent me. But this is to fulfill what is written in their law. They hated me without reason. So you can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies. Every single thing was in fulfillment of the prophecy. Another prophecy, Messiah would be crucified with criminals. Isaiah chapter 53 verse 12. You see, every single detail, they were fulfilling it, and they did not realize that even their wickedness and their actions was all in fulfillment of the prophecies. That the Messiah would be crucified with criminals. Therefore I would divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death, and he was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he bore the sins of many, and makes intercession for the transgressors, for the sinners. Isaiah 53:12. If you read the whole Isaiah 53, you're going to see how Isaiah prophesied about every single detail about the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh. And this was fulfilled in Matthew 27:38 in the New Testament. Matthew 27:38, the New Testament. Okay, now we read that the Messiah Yahushua was crucified with criminals, with sinners. Then two robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left. This is all in fulfillment of the prophecies, every little detail. Okay, and also Mark 15:27 to 28 fulfills this. Mark 15:27 to 28. With him they also crucified two thieves, two robbers. one on his right and the other on his left. So the scripture was fulfilled, which says that he was numbered with the transgressors. So you can see everything was in synchronization and in fulfillment of the prophecies. Another prophecy is Messiah would be given vinegar to drink. Psalm 69 verse 21. Every single detail was about him and it was all fulfilled. Psalm 69:12, right? I hope I got it right. I am the subject of gossip, and for those who sit on the gate, and the drunkards make songs about me. Is that the right one? Or Psalm 69:21? I beg your pardon. Okay, the Messiah would be offered vinegar to drink. So every single thing was prophesied in advance that he would be given vinegar. When I was hungry, they gave me poison. When I was thirsty, they offered me vinegar. Psalm 69 verse 21. This was King David thousands of years prophesying about it, and it eventually happened in Matthew 27 verses 34. Okay, Matthew 27:34. Okay, so when the Messiah Yahushua told them that he was thirsty, they offered him vinegar to drink. They offered Yahushua wine to drink mixed with gall, that is vinegar. But after tasting it, he refused to drink it. When they had crucified him, they divided up his clothes by casting lots, and sitting down, they kept watch over him there. Okay, so you can see it's all in fulfillment of the prophecies, everything that was said. Likewise, John chapter 19 verses 28 to 30 fulfills the prophecy that Messiah will be given vinegar to drink. Messiah's hands and feet will be pierced. This was prophesied about by King David thousands of years in Psalm 22 verse 16. Psalm 22 verse 16, that the Messiah's hands and feet will be pierced. This has nothing to do with any other person claiming to be the last prophet. The Messiah's hands and feet will be pierced. Dogs surround me. A pack of villains encircle me. A pack of villains encircles me. They pierce my hands and my feet. All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them, and they cast lots for my garments. Who will win the, like playing a gamble for it? But you, Yahuah, do not be far from me. You are my strength. Come quickly to help me. Deliver me from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dogs. Rescue me from the mouth of the lions. Save me from the horns of the wild oxen. So it said clearly that a pack of villains encircles me. They pierce my hands and my feet. All my bones are on display. And this is a prophecy that the Messiah's hands and feet would be pierced. Zechariah chapter 12 verse 10 also, gives us the same prophecy. So you can see different prophets making the same prophecies, and it was eventually fulfilled. Okay, Zechariah chapter 12 verse 10. And I will pour out on the house of Jesse and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of favor and supplication. They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, and grieve bitterly for him as one grieves for a firstborn son. Okay, so you can see clearly that he says that they will look on him whom they had pierced. It's all in fulfillment of the prophecy. Messiah's hands and feet would be pierced. This was fulfilled in the New Testament in John chapter 20 verses 25 to 27. John 20, 25 to 27. Okay, so the other disciples told him, "We have seen Yahuah." But he said to him, "Unless I see in his hands the mark of the nails, and place my finger into the mark of the nails, and place my hand into his side, I would never believe." So this was after Yahushua Hamasheakh resurrected, and the disciples came and told Thomas, the one who was not around when he appeared, that they had seen him, and he said he would not believe until he had put his hands into the holes where the piercings were made. So this is all in fulfillment of the prophecy that the Messiah's hands and feet would be pierced. Another prophecy, Messiah would be mocked and ridiculed. Psalm 22 verses 7 to 8. that was fulfilled in Luke chapter 23 verse 35. So we've read about the insults, the spit. So if you just Google it, you're gonna see Psalm 22 verses 7 to 8. Luke 23:35 fulfills it. Messiah would be mocked and ridiculed, would be insulted. And now another prophecy: soldiers would gamble for Messiah's garments. We just read, and they cast lots for my garments. Who will, who will win it, like a gamble. That was prophesied in Psalm 22 verse 18, and that was fulfilled in Luke 23 verse 34 and Matthew 27 verse 35 to 36. Messiah's bones would not be broken. Exodus chapter 12 verse 46. Let's see what it says. Exodus 12:4-6. The whole meal must be eaten in the house in which it was prepared. It must not be taken outside, and do not break any of the animal's bones. Now let's see. Exodus 12:46. Now another prophecy is by King David, Psalm 34 verse 20. Messiah's bones will not be broken, because they pierced him, but they did not break any of his bones. But when they got to the criminals who were crucified with him, they broke their 2 legs to fasten their death. But when they got to the Messiah Yahushua, they realized he had already died, and they just pierced his side, and water and blood gushed forth to fulfill the prophecy that none of his bones would be broken. Psalm 34 verse 20. He protects all his bones, not one of them will be broken. So it says will be broken. So it is a prophecy, and that is fulfilled in John 19 verses 33 to 36. John 19 verses 33 to 36. But when they came to Yahushua Hamasheakh, that is after they had broken the legs of the other 2 criminals, when they came to Messiah Yahushua, they found that he was already dead. They did not break his legs. Instead, one of the soldiers pierced Yahushua's side with a spear, bringing a sudden flow of blood and water. The man who saw it has given testimony, and this testimony is true. This is St. John writing. He knows that he tells the truth, and he testifies so that you may also believe. These things happen so that the scriptures would be fulfilled. Not one of his bones would be broken. So you can see it's all in fulfillment of the scriptures. Not one of his bones will be broken, and this is all accomplished in the New Testament. Messiah would be forsaken by Yahuah the Creator. Psalm 22 verse 1. Now Muslims keep asking that if truly he is the Creator, if why was he crying out on the stake, Yahuah my Elohim, why have you forsaken me? Because he was bearing the sins of the whole world. And Isaiah 59:2 tells us that sin separates us from our Creator, that he cannot behold sin. So when he was the lamb used for the atonement of our sins, all our sins were upon him, and so Yahuah turned his back on him because he could not behold the iniquities and the sins cast upon him as the sacrificial offering, as the atonement offering. Now in Psalm 22 verse 1 it says, my Yahuah, my Elohim, why have you abandoned me? Why are you so far away when I groan for help? You can see that this was thousands of years before the Messiah Yahushua was born. Psalm 22 verse 1. And also it was fulfilled in Matthew 27:4-6. Okay, when Messiah Yahushua cried out upon the stake, and he cried, Elohim, my Elohim, why have you forsaken me? Okay, and about the 9th hour, while the Messiah Yahushua was hanging on the stake, he cried out with a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. That is, my Elohim, why have you forsaken me? Because the Father turned his back on him. He could not behold sin. In fulfillment of the scriptures, Messiah would be forsaken by Yahuah. Okay, another prophecy, Messiah would pray for his enemies. Psalm 109 verse 4. So even whilst they were crucifying him, he did not hold it against them. He still forgave them, and he prayed for their pardon, for their salvation, for their forgiveness and atonement. He told them clearly. Psalm 109 verse 4. In return for my friendship, they accuse me, but I am a man of prayer. He still prays for them. In return for my friendship, they accuse me, they repay me with evil. Now Luke chapter 23 verse 34. Then Yahushua Hamasheakh, whilst he was on the cross, he prayed for the pardon of his murderers. Then Yahushua said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. They parted his garments and they cast lots, in fulfillment of the prophecies that they will cast lots for his garments. Okay, he would pray for his enemies. That prophecy is fulfilled. The soldiers would pierce Messiah's side. We just read about it. Zechariah 12:10, all fulfilled in John 19:34. They pierced him with a spear. None of his bones was broken. Messiah would be buried with the rich. Isaiah 53 verse 9. Okay, this was a prophecy by prophet Isaiah in Isaiah 53 verse 9. He said that Messiah would be buried with the rich, because when they took him down from the stake, Joseph of Arimathea, a rich Pharisee, he was not in support of the Pharisees' decisions. He took him and he wrapped him in white garments and buried him in a grave where no one had laid amongst the rich, to fulfill the prophecies. And they made his grave with the wicked and with a rich man in his death, although he had done no violence and there was no deceit in his mouth. Isaiah 53 verse 9. Okay, so you can see it says that he was buried with the rich, and this was fulfilled in Matthew 27:57 to 16. Okay, Matthew 27:57 to 16. When Joseph of Arimathea asked Pontius Pilate to have the body of the Messiah released to him, Pontius Pilate obliged him. When it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who was also a disciple of Messiah Yahushua. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Yahushua, and Pilate ordered it that it be given to him. And Joseph took the body and rolled it up in a clean linen cloth used for swathing dead bodies, and laid it in his own flesh undefiled tomb, which he had hewn in the rock. And he rolled a big boulder over the door of the tomb and went away. So it was an undefiled tomb, a fresh tomb, and he was laid with the rich, in fulfillment of the prophecies. Now Messiah would resurrect from the dead. The Muslims, the Jews, they don't believe this. Psalm 16 verse 10. It was prophesied by King David thousands of years before he was ever born. Psalm 16 verse 10. Okay, thousands of years before, Messiah Yahushua's resurrection was prophesied about by King David. Because you will not abandon me to the realm of the dead, nor will you let your faithful one to see decay. So you can see clearly this was a prophecy. Another prophecy by King David, Psalm 49:15, about the Messiah's resurrection. Okay, Psalm 49:15, that he would resurrect and he would not see decay. Okay, but Yahuah will rescue me. He would not leave my soul in Sheol, in the grave. Yahuah will rescue me. He will save me from the power of death. Okay, and this was fulfilled in the New Testament. Matthew 28 verses 2 to 7. Okay, we read, there was a violent earthquake. That is when the Messiah Yahushua was resurrecting on the third day. The soldiers who were guarding the tomb, they were stricken, they were awestruck and fearful like dead men. They were frozen in fear. There was a violent earthquake, for a malach, a messenger of Yahuwah, came down from heaven, and going to the tomb, rolled back the stone, which Joseph of Arimathea used to cover the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were white as snow. The guards, the soldiers who were guarding the tomb, were so afraid of him that they shook and became like dead men. The malach, the messenger, said to the women, do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Messiah Yahushua, who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said he would. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples he has risen from the dead and is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him. Now I have told you. So you can see the malach told the told the women that he had resurrected, and he truly had resurrected. And this was fulfilled in Acts chapter 2 verses 22 to 32. Okay, let's read Acts 2 22 to 32. Fellow Israelites, listen to this. That is when Messiah Yahushua had resurrected, and his disciples were bearing witness to the message and telling the people, fellow Israelites, listen to this. Yahushua Hamasheakh of Nazareth was a man accredited by Elohim to you by miracles, wonders, and signs, which Yahuah did among you through him, as you yourselves know. This man was handed over to you by Yahuwah's deliberate plan and foreknowledge, and you, with the help of wicked men, put him to death by nailing him to the cross. But Yahuwah raised him up from the dead, freeing him from the agony of death, because it was impossible for death to keep its hold on him. David said about him, I saw Yahuwah always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I will not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad and my tongue rejoices. My body also will rest in hope, because you will not abandon me to the realm of the dead. You will not let your Holy One to see decay. You have made known to me the paths of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence. So you can see this is all fulfilled, all the prophecies. Messiah would resurrect from the dead. He did resurrect. Messiah would ascend to heaven. It was prophesied before he was born, and it was fulfilled after he was born. Psalm 24 verses 7 to 10. Okay, Psalm 24 7 to 10. It tells us about the ascension of Messiah Yahushua back into heaven where he came from, because he told them always, you are from the world, I am not of this world, I am from above, and I'll be going back to my Father. Now, the Old Testament prophecies, lift up your heads, you gates, be lifted up, you ancient doors, then the sovereign of praise may come in. Who is this sovereign of praise? The Yahuwah strong and mighty, the Yahuwah mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, you gates, lift them up, you ancient doors. Then the sovereign of praise may come in. Okay, let me see if that is the right one. Psalm 24 verse 7 to 10, right? Yes, okay. Another fulfillment of this prophecy that the Messiah would ascend into heaven. Mark 16:19. Okay. How the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh commissioned his disciples and told them that he's going back into heaven and that they should go and spread the good news, just like he's telling you today. Because if his disciples had a nonchalant attitude, the gospel would not have come to us today. So don't say somebody else is spreading the gospel, you don't have to do it, why do you have to bother yourself? You are mandated to do it. Disobeying the commandment is a sin. Mark 16:19. So then Yahushua Hamasheakh, after he had spoken to them, was taken up into heaven and sat down at the right hand of Elohim. So we can see that was fulfilled in the New Testament. Another fulfillment of it is in Luke 24:51. Okay, let's read Luke 24:51. How the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh arose into heaven. And it came to pass, while he blessed them, he was parted from them and carried up into heaven. So you can see that the prophecies were fulfilled, that the Messiah would ascend into heaven. Again, another prophecy, Messiah would be seated at Yahuwah's right hand. Psalm 68 verse 18. This is the Old Testament, and that was fulfilled eventually in the New Testament. Psalm 68 verse 18. You ascended on high, leading a host of captives in your train, and receiving gifts receiving gifts among men, even among the rebellious, that Yahuwah Elohim may dwell there. You ascended on high. So you can see that it was prophesied the Messiah Yahushua would ascend into heaven. Psalm 110 verse 1 is also another prophecy that the Messiah Yahushua would ascend into heaven. Now it tells us in Psalm 110 verse 1 that the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh arose into heaven. Yahuwah, the Elohim said unto my Yahuwah, sit thou at my right hand until I make thy enemies your footstool. So it tells you clearly that the Messiah Yahushua would ascend into heaven and would sit at the right hand of Yahuwah. Sit thou at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. That is the day of judgment when he comes again. The return of the Messiah Yahushua. Okay, Messiah will be seated at Yahuwah's right hand. That can also be seen in Matthew 22 verse 44. That the Messiah Yahushua will sit at the right hand of Elohim his father. Okay, the Elohim said to my Yahuwah, sit here on my right hand until I put your enemies under your feet. So you can see it's all in fulfillment of the scriptures. Old Testament, New Testament, they are all in synchronization and perfect fulfillment. Now in the final prophecy, Messiah would be an atonement for sin. Isaiah 53 verses 5 to 12. You're going to see how prophet Isaiah told us the summary of the Messiah's life, how he would be used for the atonement of mankind's sins. Isaiah 53 verses 5 to 12. Okay, but he was pierced for our transgressions, he was wounded for our iniquities. So you can see everything. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all like sheep have gone astray. You know, in fulfillment of the prophecy in Revelation 13:8, all inhabitants of the earth will worship Satan except those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life. It tells you we all inhabitants of the earth, we all like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and Yahuwah has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. Yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was punished. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was there deceit in his mouth. Yet it was Yahuwah's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though Yahuwah makes his life an offering for sin, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of Yahuwah will prosper in his hand. After he has suffered, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. For therefore I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide his spoils with the strong. A portion among the great when he ascends into heaven and is going to return to judge the world. Therefore I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide his spoils with the strong, the judgment day. Because he has poured out his life unto death, because he has paid the atonement price for the salvation of mankind. Therefore all authority in heaven has been given to him, and authority on earth, just as he said in Matthew 28:18 to 20. And because he has poured out his life unto death as an atonement for sin, and was numbered with the transgressors, for he bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. So we can see clearly that this Messiah Yahushua, the last prophet of the Creator, would be the Messiah, and he would be an atonement for sin. And that is also fulfilled in Romans chapter 5 verses 6 to 8. Okay, Romans chapter 5 verses 6 to 8. If you read it, you're going to see all that you need to know. Let's read Romans 5 6 to 8. That is the last prophecy, and we're going to be wrapping it up here. Okay, Romans chapter 5 verses 6 to 8, that the Messiah Yahushua would be an atonement for the sins of mankind, for the salvation of our souls, that through him mankind will have salvation. For while we were still weak, at the right time Yahushua Hamasheakh died for the unrighteous. For one will scarcely die for a righteous person, because you can't even die for a righteous person, but he died for the unrighteous, for the sins of many. Though perhaps for a good person you might be willing to die, one would dare to even die, but Yahuwah shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Yahushua Hamasheakh died for us, agreed to use himself as the atonement for our sins. So we can see that these are the 44 prophecies about the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh, and we can see that they are prophesied in the Old Testament and they are all fulfilled in the New Testament. They are all in synchronization with each other, so nothing is missing. So you can see that the world's deception is all in fulfillment of Daniel 7:25, Revelations 13:8. Yahushua Hamasheakh is the true son of the true creator Yahuwah. The creator of the world is not God, and the Messiah Yahushua Hamasheakh is the true son of the creator, not Jesus Christ. But all these changes, this deception is in fulfillment of Daniel 7:25, Revelation 13:8, Revelation 13:14, that Satan is going to deceive the world with the signs and miracles is permitted to perform. Deuteronomy 13, Yahuwah told us when he sends the false prophet, he's testing our loyalty. Yahushua's guidance, I wish you all the best. Save your souls. Get on the right track, read the true scriptures, and share the word. You have a duty to. Matthew 24:14, Matthew 28:18-20. You must be a sharer of the word. You are mandated to go into the world and make disciples of all nations. All the best. I wish you Yahuwah's favor, Yahuwah's love, Yahuwah's guidance. May the favor of Yahuwah Almighty, the love of Yahushua Hamasheakh, and the sweet fellowship of the great Ruach Spirit HaKodesh rest and abide with us now and forever. Thank you so much. All the best and stay safe. Share the video and share the message and get baptized in the true name of the true Trinity, because John 3:5 tells you without baptism you cannot enter the kingdom of Yahuwah. In whose name were ye baptized? In his baptism in the name of God and Jesus is initiation into the fold of Satan. Get baptized in the name of the true creator Yahuwah, his son Yahushua Hamasheakh, and the great Ruach Spirit HaKodesh, the true Trinity, as we can see in Genesis 18. Thank you so much. Thank you.